Are you starting to wonder what niche you should publish in when it comes to Amazon? Are you more confused than ever when it comes to selecting the proper niche for your self-publishing business? And can you really predict sales? Well, I'm going to talk about all that in today's video, so make sure that you stay tuned. This is Self-Publishing with Dale, where you'll learn how to publish books that sell and build an unstoppable author brand. And if that means a lot to you and you want to learn a little bit more about self-publishing, make sure that you subscribe and turn your bell notifications on so you don't miss a single video. And it is another Wednesday night at 6 p.m. Eastern Daytime, so that means it is a live video. So today is going to be a little more looser than usual, but it's not going to take away from what I'm going to share with you today. It's going to be about niche research. Yeah, some of you might say niche, some say niche. Either way, you know what I'm talking about. And we're actually going to go into a little bit of a deep dive when it comes to this. So listen, folks, make sure you stick around to the end because I got a bonus tip that's going to send your eyebrows and it's going to leave you with hair just like this because it's so hot. I can guarantee you, you will not see this particular trick. It's a way to spy on your competition and see exactly where they're publishing in. That way, maybe you can use it for your own good. So in any event, make sure you stick around for that. So we're going to go ahead and start it out in the most basic question because I want to make sure that anybody that's new here understands what are niches or niches, as some people have referred to it as. It's based on a specific audience and the content that they're looking for. Typically, the way that you can kind of categorize a niche is the keywords that are used and the categories that are used. Now, I've talked about keywords ad nauseum. In fact, I actually have a link down in the description below to a couple of good keywords videos, and I'm going to refer you to another one at some point or another. Today, though, we're going to just talk about categories specifically. Categories is where you're going to really want to focus on, and, well, here's the deal. How exactly do we find our niches? So how do we find those categories and well, why are they so important? Here's the deal. It's like going to a library. Everybody's familiar with the Dewey Decimal System, right? It's the way that it's categorized. So the people that come to the library are able to easily find the book they want. Has anybody ever been to a used bookstore? And everything's thrown everywhere. You know, you can get 50 cents for this book or $1 for this book. There's a lot of attrition. Most people aren't willing to kind of sift through that stuff to find a little diamond in the rough. That's why the niches and the categories, more importantly, are so important because we want to make sure that your title is put into the right area. So where do we find them? As I was getting ready to say before, you're going to find that actually on your product details on your product page. So if you go onto your product page, you're actually going to scroll on down. It says product details. It'll typically have your ASIN or your ISBN. And it'll have a few other things. And you will see the categories there if you've had at least one sale of your title. If you see for some reason there's no categories there, chances are likely you probably haven't sold a single copy yet. So just bear that in mind. You can probably find most of that if you just go to any book within your niche and you can see what categories they're using. Now, don't get too ahead of yourself here. You're probably thinking, oh, that's the bonus tip. Oh, no, it's not. It's even better. Alrighty, so how do we use them? So big shout out. I want to do this one right out the gate. Shout out to my boy, the Kindlepreneur, Dave Chesson. And actually, I'm going to reference his video that he covers when it comes to the BISAC and the Amazon categories. And the reason why I want to say this is because I was able to kind of use this as a reference. And as some of you may be aware, Dave Chesson is the mind behind Publisher Rocket, and it's one of my preferred go-to tools. And this is what he lives, breathes, eats, and sleeps. It's kind of studying the Amazon universe and trying to figure out the best way to utilize it for indie authors. So in any event, let's start it out with the BISAC category, otherwise known as the Book Industry Standard in Communications. This is kind of like the standard bearer for organizing your books through the US and Canada and some portions of the world. There's nearly 4,000 of these categories in the BizHack. And you are going to find that inside your KDP dashboard when you're publishing your book. Those are the categories you're allowed to choose 2 of. In fact, you can't even progress past the first screen unless you actually choose at least 1. I recommend you get 2. There's plenty there, so you just got to kind of scour through and see what works best for you. It's very interesting though, in that when it actually shows up on the Amazon Marketplace, it's not going to be exactly that category, because based on what you selected and the keywords that are associated with your title is how they're going to categorize you in their system. So with 4,000 categories, this doesn't account for the thousands more that Amazon has available. So here's the deal. Amazon has 16,000 categories. They're always adding some, subtracting some. It's pretty interesting that I've seen some categories that my books have been, attributed to, and other ones that they have not been in, and they just get added all the time and then taken away. And why is this? It's because they want to categorize everything down to a very niche level, sub niche sometimes, sub niche, really down. So that way, whoever is looking for whatever, addresses their fancy, scratches their itch, they're able to find it with ease. And that's why they have so many of these categories that are breaking down. So now you start to understand why Amazon has so many categories, because they want to make this easily and readily available for their customers. So 16,000 categories, 4,000 BizHack categories. But wait, hang on. I said you can only select 2. What's the deal with all these other ones? Believe it or not, you can actually have 10. A total of 10 categories associated to one title, be it ebook or on print book. You can choose the 2 that are in your dashboard and add an additional 8 inside your KDP dashboard through the Contact Us feature. So when you find a good category you would like to add your title to, you've got to get a hold of them through the Contact Us feature. The nice thing is there's a little inquiry that says book details, and I think it says categories and keywords. And you would end up taking your ASIN or your ISBN of your book, and you'd slip in all of those categories, or what I like to call, and insiders inside KDP print say, browse paths. So these browse paths, and there's a reason why it's called a browse path. I'm actually going to show you why it's called a browse path here in just a moment. So how to research and add the categories though? How do we do this? There's 2 definite ways we can do this. So I'm going to switch right over to the screen share, and we're going to go ahead and take a look at the grinded out philosophy. Now, the grinding it out is the old-fashioned way of doing things. And if you don't have any fancy software or anything else like this, and if you're a newbie, I recommend you do this way. You're going to end up going on to the Amazon Marketplace and think about keywords that are associated to your specific title. So let's just say, for instance, mine is workout plans for men. Why not? Let's do that. Okay, we're going to scroll on down, and let's go ahead and select my publication. Why not? Okay, let's get a shameless plug in here, right? So we're going to scroll on down and take a look into the product details. And this is where we see the category added. It used to be a lot longer. That's why they were called browse paths. But now they've made it a little bit easier for the Amazon customer to understand, because these browse paths were confusing. If you were a customer, you go on, what is this? You go down here like, oh, the best sellers rank is what? So here's how it goes. When you're doing your research now, you find a particular book that is related to your niche. You're going to go ahead and select the hyperlink there. And I'd also recommend too is copy and paste this onto a separate sheet. So that way you can go back and ask for these later on. I prefer to do the old-fashioned method, so that way there's no ambiguity when I'm communicating with KDP. So we're going to go ahead and we're going to select this. It's going to take me over to the bestseller list. Now don't be confused. This is the bestseller list for the specific category. So we're going to go ahead and look at the left-hand side. And let me go ahead, I'm just going to click on my screen here, make sure everybody can see this okay. We're looking at the far left corner. Browse paths included, starting at the particular type of product being, see, Kindle ebooks, nonfiction, health, fitness, and dieting, exercise and fitness, and aerobics. That is a full browse path. Now we know that we're on the specific browse path because the last word is bolded. Okay, so that is where we're at right now. That is the category for what we saw for aerobics on that particular book. So now we want to pay attention to the bestseller list because we want to make sure that we're publishing into a niche that is going to be, of course, profitable and that there's proof of concept. So what I typically like to do is I will look at the bestsellers list and I want to look at ranks. Now there's a little plug-in, it's called Amazon DS Quick View, or it might be DS Amazon Quick View. Either way, it's a free browser extension, so you'll notice some of these bestseller ranks are already popped up here, so it's easy for me to see really fast how it's doing. I want to pay attention to the first 20, and my proof of concept is going to be, is it selling 100,000 or less? Because if the number one is at, say, 500,000, it's like going in and having a fist fight with a toddler. No one's going to be impressed, much less anybody's going to be even watching you. So sometimes finding these categories, it's great. You can get your bestseller tag on some of these smaller categories that are unheard of, but is that something you want to go for? So I typically like to see 100,000 or less when it comes to selecting a particular category. If it gets really up there, so for instance, right here, Clinton Dobbins is just dominating at 7,100 in the paid Kindle store. This is going to be a fist fight. There's going to be a lot of work for you to try to get into that number one slot and get past him. Now, when it comes to Michael Matthews here, he's got 30,000. This is doable. This is like about 6 to 12 publication sales per day in ebooks. I'm going to keep looking down, and the further I go down, this is making me feel a little more comfortable because at number 10, there's one with 104,000 as far as the BSR, the bestseller rank. So that's how I study this. You can really just go in, and this is like a rabbit trail. We can grab this publication, we scroll on down, we look at the products, product details, and then we just choose another one, quick workouts. Well, let's take a look. We'll see what the ranks are at the number one, 860. Woo! That's gonna be hard. Let's scroll down, let's see what number 20 is. Number 10 is at 41,000, not bad. I'm willing to kind of give this a shot. Now, as far as when it comes to the number of sales though, folks, let's not get this confused because someone could probably be dominating at a Kindle ebook at say 99 cents. They're only bringing in 35 cents per sale. And this is great. If you're in the top 100, yeah, it's going to be an ATM. You're going to be making some significant income. Conversely speaking, though, at a higher price point of say $2.99 to $9.99, and you're at say top 100, you're going to be making bank. You're going to be pulling in easily 5 figures per month, easily. And you're going to be seeing that really starts to take off. So when it comes to actually predicting the sales, no one can really be predicting the sales. What I try to do is pay attention to that bestsellers list and see that there's proof of concept and there's an audience that's willing to consume the content, to buy the content. It's up to you from there to create a good promotional strategy that gets it to where more people are purchasing your book. Because obviously the more people that purchase your book, the more it pushes it up into that category and serves it out to other people. Because here's the beauty of it is as a customer, some people are opted into an email list through Amazon. And when they purchase a product through Amazon, they're gonna recommend additional products. So maybe they didn't buy your book that was categorized in quick workouts. But if you get pushed up there in that category, in that bestseller rank, they're more susceptible to serve it out to you on Amazon's email list. So pretty cool, right? And then of course there's always the things like, the ad placement that they're gonna have on various websites because they've obviously been tracking them after they have made their purchase, and they'll go over to sites that have Amazon's advertising on there. So I said there was going to be 2 ways we're gonna do things. Second way, okay, this is predictable. By the way, you don't have to grind it out, folks. And there is still a bonus tip I'm going to hit today. So stick around. Publish Rocket. I know it seems like, oh gosh, here we go. Here's this guy. He's going to be talking about Publisher Rocket again. Folks, I don't gush over too many things. I'm not the type of guy that gets impressed over too many things because, I like to remain cautiously optimistic. In fact, I'd actually had formerly known as KDP Rocket for nearly 3 years now, but for the first year, it sat on my Mac and I didn't use it because I was just like, I got it, and I was like, let's just go ahead and play around with it. And I played around with it and I was just unimpressed. But I'm going to tell you, the newest version of Publisher Rocket, no longer KDP Rocket, has the ability to get the categories, get the keywords, and get everything that you need to from that spot without having to grind it out, without having to go over into things. The category selection tool is really cool because instead of having to look at every single rank inside the bestseller list of a given category, it provides that to you. It's like, here you go, here's those categories. By the way, the number one spot is at 4,106. And it gives you these metrics without having to spend a ton of time figuring it out and seeing what is related and how you can get those things and get those additional 8 categories you can send in for your publication. So, folks, if you want to definitely get a copy of Publisher Rocket, I highly recommend it. It comes with a 30-day money-back guarantee. If you're not happy about it, just send it on back. Dave puts that on inside the landing page. Just go visit my affiliate link at dalelinks.com/rocket. Again, that's dalelinks.com/rocket. So that way you can get your access now. Last little item, because when someone asked me about this in the community tab here in this channel, they wanted to know, okay, how do I research niches that are profitable and how can I predict sales? Folks, I'm not going to have a crystal ball here. I'm not going to be able to tell you that one niche is going to crush it for you. You're going to pull in 10 grand per month, or you're going to pull in 500 per month on this type of thing. It has a lot to do with the content that you provide and the audience that you bring with you, and most importantly, your marketing and promotional strategy. I gotta be real with you. There's quite a few indie authors right now that just rely on organic traffic through Amazon alone, and that is a recipe for disaster. There are a few unicorns in this business that can crush it in that way, but that's just a few. The vast majority of us have to grind it out. We have to get out there, develop an email marketing strategy, getting into Amazon ads, trying out BookBub ads, or testing out various things, starting up Facebook groups. So predicting sales, unfortunately, there's no way to predict it because it ebbs and flows. Keto might be big right now. Come another year from now, it may not. Paleo was like that not too long ago. Kind of gone on that downward trend. Sure, people are still consuming the content. It just kind of goes to show you that we can't ever predict the sales or the direction of things. So hopefully you understand that. So the bonus tip for today is going to be interesting here. So I had a fancy button, but unfortunately that fancy button doesn't work. So here is my bonus tip for the day. We're going to go ahead and open up the browser again. Okay. Now, before we do get into that, I want you folks to do me a favor. If it's new to you, put hashtag new to me inside the comments. You're gonna like this one. This is gonna blow you away. So let's go ahead and switch screens here so everybody can see what's going on. Let's go ahead. We're gonna choose any title that we want to. Let's see here. We're gonna pick one of mine. Why not? Because that's how I roll. I'm selfish like that. So let's go workout plan. All right, and there's one of my titles. Okay, so here's how this bonus tip's gonna work. If you're studying your niche, I think it's a given that if you find another book that is similar to yours, then chances are likely they're gonna have those categories that you want to get. It used to be very easy that you could just kind of scroll down and see exactly the browse paths. And it used to actually even more, you'd scroll on down, you'd see all 10 browse paths that were related to your category, but not anymore. It only shows the top 3 that it's available in. So here's what we're gonna do. You're gonna go down to the product details. You're gonna hit the ASIN. You can also grab the ISBN. You're gonna hit Control-C to copy. You're gonna scroll it on up. You're gonna paste it into the search bar. We're gonna hit enter. All right, instantly you're going, okay, Dale, I don't know what's going on here. So let me move my screen just a little bit because I can tell that we're cutting it off. There we go, awesome. So on the left-hand side, pay closest attention. Remember how I showed you there was browse paths over here? Well, we're gonna build the browse paths because we've just pulled up this ASIN and ISBN. Now, what Amazon's gonna do, it's gonna tell you the specific categories it's in. So we've already got Kindle Store open and Kindle eBooks is there because it's an ebook, obviously. We're gonna left click it. It's gonna drop down. It's gonna show 3 additional niches in health, fitness, and dieting, nonfiction, sports, and outdoors. You select one of these. Pick your poison. Comes on down. Whoa, hang on a second. There's 3 additional: exercise and fitness, personal health, and reference. We're gonna go ahead and select this until we get down to the sub niche. Look at this, it breaks down even more. Ab workouts, aerobics, quick workouts, and weight training. I'm just gonna select this again. This should be a dead end. Boom. There is the entire browse path. You can do this with any niche, or excuse me, any book in your niche and just do this way. So, I mean, even if, like, for instance, I know, by the way, great author, Michael Matthews. He's in my realm. We're gonna look up Michael Matthews. Here we go. We're gonna select his, oop, I didn't mean to grab that sponsored ad. Sorry about that, folks. Sorry, Mike. So, scroll on down. Let's grab his ASIN. Again, you can do this with an ISBN. We're gonna hit copy. We can see 3 of the categories he selected. Then we're gonna go ahead and drop it on in there. Boom. Kindle eBooks. Let's choose health, fitness, and dieting. Exercise and fitness. You notice his is different than mine. Weight training. We've gone down all the way. So you start at Kindle eBooks. The next part of the browse path is health, fitness, and dieting, exercise and fitness, and weight training. Fairly interesting, right? Let me just zoom in on this so everybody can see this. This is where we're starting. This is where we're ending. Let's go back up to this browse path. Let's see what else he's got associated to his book. Sports and outdoors, training. There's another browse path right there, immediately available for you, and you can just go ahead and swipe that. Now, it's not unethical. It's 100% okay, because this is gonna help you to categorizing the right areas, your publication. Now, obviously, if you're not in fitness, don't go swiping Mike's, browse paths or clicking on his sponsored ads. Sorry again, Mike. You're gonna go ahead and select those, and you're gonna go ahead and send that to KDP through the Contact Us. So if that was news to you, let me know inside the chat right now, that hashtag new to me. Hey, while we're at it, I was kind of talking a little bit about the categories, but what about keywords? Which ones do we need to select, and how do we select it? I've got a full proven research method. If you head down over here to this next video, I will see you over there.